Wagwan, people. Where I say, I think it's time that people start learning a little bit of Jamaican because that's the original language of this land. The reason being is that from what I've it's been mixed with English, but a lot of the terminology of how you speak you can actually use the language to decipher a lot of other languages or a lot of places that are around. Today is going to be a different type of whoosh show. Let's see. What was the last thing?
I
Can't play none of those. Nothing. Can't play nothing. So I say, they can't play nothing. Copyright infringement. Nothing's for free. Even if it's played on YouTube, you can't play it. You need permission. You need this. You need that. Let's go with something different. What's that? Should I upload family device? Okay. Yeah. Franklin, where you did that? Yeah? When you go out and go fucking. You're a bad boy. You have enough gal in? Nothing wants to be working. Okay, let's do this. So today, seems like majority of the people around the world do not know that they are one-cell organisms. A lot of people around the world have not taken an airplane and been in the air and looked down. When you start taking off, you see the runway, you see the airport, you see the houses, the cars, and the higher you go, things just keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Even in a high rise, if you've ever lived in a high rise or ever been in a high rise, you go to the top and you look down. Even at a window, you just look down. It's hard to even see the cars because the cars look like ants. Even in the Biblioheliothek, the Holy Bible, it says study the ant. Because that's what we are. We're like ants. Love McNisey when man are on the thing. Today we're going to go over on how a cell works. This is from just learning And thanks to the teachers that taught me on how a cell works, because basically I was very interested on how I work. Understanding how a cell works understands how you work. And when you understand how a cell burns energy, moves around, right, you can have a better understanding of yourself on how you burn energy and how you move around. Now, a lot of cells can be backed up and full of shit, full of toxins, full of too much cholesterol. Cholesterol would be plaque. Cholesterol would be the bad fat that you can't basically burn off. We want to just keep it simple, right? So that we can all understand. And when we understand, you can, do certain things to make changes in your life, to know that it's not the end of the freaking world, but there's certain things that are clogging, certain things that are just backed up. When you go and fart and your fart stinks, that means that you have a lot of old shit inside you. One of my, keep it a little light. Librarian. Mm-hmm. 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 Certain things are just not working.
You're tuned into the Slowcast.
Yeah.
With your friends, the Slow DJs.
We're doing it ghetto. Okay. So, how the cell works. Inside the cell, there's something called ATP-CP, creatine. Now, it is the spark that's inside the cell. It's kind of like the thing that ignites the fuel. Okay. Think of your cell like a car. When you start the engine up, when you turn that key, what you're doing, you're creating a spark from the battery that basically engages a starter the starter starts turning the crank, right? And the crank is offset. And the offset is now going up and down. That's what basically has the rods that move up and down, which are connected to the pistons inside of a cylinder that gas is coming in vapor form, or it's like squirted in. Then what happens is the piston is going up, and there's so much pressure that is built up inside the piston that it will, at the top, now build the pressure, but at the top there's a spark plug that ignites, that sends a little spark, and then that spark is coming from the battery, right? Once that spark, excuse me, once that spark ignites the gas, it will force the piston down, right? Then the whole motion goes again. The piston goes down. These valves at the top open up. One valve opens up, lets some gas in. The piston goes up, creates pressure. It ignites, forcing the piston down. Now, the creatine acts in the same way. It's kind of like the starter. It starts, starts moving around. It's like when you start moving around, okay? Now, that cell releases the creatine. That creatine, it starts burning. It's in the anaerobic stage. Anaerobic meaning that, think about aerobic. Aerobic is like you start not breathing as hard. You need oxygen, right? Just like everything, you need oxygen to burn fuel. When fire starts burning, what it's looking for is oxygen. Fire is actually alive. And it starts seeking the oxygen that's in everything. It doesn't matter what it is, it wants it to stay alive. All right? Now, once a cell starts burning the creatine, bear with me, I'm trying to remember all this stuff. It starts burning the creatine. Now, it's in the anaerobic stage. Once it starts burning the creatine in the anaerobic stage, that means you're not using that much oxygen. It now starts burning the sugar that's stored all over your body. The sugar, right? You can actually have excess sugar. That's where, I guess that's where diabetes would come in, because you have too much sugar, right? And you have too much sugar that's stored all over the body. And sugar, if you haven't noticed, once you process sugar, you're basically turning into a chemical, right? And the cell starts looking for that sugar to burn in the anaerobic stage. Anaerobic meaning not enough. You don't need that much oxygen to burn the fuel because you have the sugar that's around, right? In the sugar burning stage, right, all that creatine that's burnt, it basically goes to the liver to be processed and to be stored again by other cells. Now it's in the anaerobic stage. The anaerobic stage, not breathing as hard. You just going. You're still going, right? Now it crosses over from the anaerobic to aerobic. Aerobic meaning that you need more oxygen to burn up the sugar. Because once you start burning sugar, you start realizing that it's harder to burn the sugar. I need more oxygen to put to this fuel that I'm burning, right? It's kind of like a turbo boost. When you use those turbines in a car, and you're pumping more air into the fuel to get more of an explosion, right? And the more oxygen you start putting in, the more energy, or the more energy it starts, the more sugar it can burn, right? So you start breathing heavier. You start breathing heavier. You start breathing heavier and start sweating, right? This is in the anaerobic stage. This is where a lot of people quit, right? The Kono Emperor. Respect. Big ups. Big ups. Charles Johnson. Big ups. Big ups. Big ups. Respect. Respect. Okay. Now we're going over on how a cell works. Okay. It starts. To basically recap. Once you start burning energy, we're all one cell organisms. We're one cell organisms. Just because you see this is not me. This is not who I am. I am still the little sperm, okay, that got my tail chopped off, and I got into an egg, chopped off the tail, okay. I am still the one cell. One cell. That's one. 0, 1. The egg and the sperm came together to make one. Whenever you see those depictions of what do you call it? You ever seen those depictions of like old things, and they're like this, and it looks like they're pointing up, or peace, meaning one. 0 and 1, the sperm and the egg. It got together and created one cell. After it got together to create that one cell, inside itself, it started duplicating, like Loki in Thor, right? That one cell, every other cell from that one cell is a duplicate of that one cell. Okay? It's a duplicate of that one cell. Every cell in your body is a duplicate of the one cell. The sperm and the egg coming together to make who you are. And every single other cell, that duplicate of that cell, has the information or the DNA of you. So they say. And then all of those cells come together to make or hold together, right? They fuse together, right? They create an electromagnetic fuse. Each one is electrical, and they create an electromagnetic field to come together, right? To make one being, one you. Out of 7 billion people, they say there's 7 billion people in the world. There's only one of you. Only one. There's only one of me out of 7 billion people. So how valuable are you? How much value do you give yourself? Like a Van Gogh painting, very rare. That's why every single landmass in the world has basically used their people as chattel property to some kind of debt that someone owes. 13 colonies, 13 people got together to create a constitution, an agreement, a contract. 13 people. Then a 14th person came in and created Canada. Now we have 14 colonies, or 14 people, 14 colonizers. Well, a colon is your intestines that can be filled with shit. And we all realize that majority of the governance in this world is shit, because we don't even know how to govern ourselves, or some certain people, right? Now we'll go back to how a cell works. Once the cell starts, it has in it creatine, right? And then in it, that creatine is a fuel source, right? If you are starting to work out or anything like that, you always hear, oh, take creatine, take creatine. But the thing is, once you start taking something, you're going to not be producing it anymore, right? If you don't produce it anymore, then you're going to actually, after a while, start going to be relying on that substance for your energy production. If you haven't noticed, majority of the people who work out or who are into fitness, they take a lot of powders. Okay, they need this powder to start. They need, or they need this powder to pre-start. Then they need this powder to start, and then they need this powder to build, and they need that powder to continue. And then they need more powder to sustain, and they need certain more powder to keep. Right? If your body is lied to and told it needs this, 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 and this to actually sustain, it'll believe it for a while. But once you stop, you basically turn all that powder and all of that food and all of that stuff to calories, to energy, stored fat. That's why you see a whole bunch of people who stop like doing fitness, they have huge guts. They start turning fat. That's what it does. Your body basically now turns everything into calories because it's been lied to. So now it's got to go back to the original form of how it was and how it burns energy. And we are one cell organisms. The sperm and the egg came together to make, fuse together to make one cell, and every cell is a duplicate of the one cell. So the cell starts releasing the creatine or burning the creatine that's stored inside each cell. Each cell, there's a little section in each cell that basically starts storing the creatine, right? The creatine is the spark, the ignition of cell burning energy burning. Once it starts burning the creatine, it's in a stage where there's a stage, it's called the anaerobic stage. That means you don't need that much oxygen to burn that energy, because that energy is kind of like jet fuel in your car, right? It's really good. Once it burns the creatine to start up the engine, right? To get that spark, you're in the car, you're starting the car with a key. That key is hooked up to the battery. That battery now sends energy to the spark plugs. It starts turning a starter. A starter is now turning the crank. The crank is moving the pistons up and down. Those pistons are actually in a container or in a cylinder that's basically allowing gas to come in and fire, right, to force the pistons down. Once it starts, it goes up and down. Now, that creatine is being burnt in the anaerobic stage, and once the creatine is burnt, it goes off to the liver to be processed, right, and to be stored all over the body, and it's stored in the cell all over again. It starts looking, now all the creatine is gone. Okay, I need a new fuel source to basically start burning or keep the flow of energy going. So it starts looking for the sugar that's stored all over your body. If you have too much sugar, that's where you get, I guess they say, diabetes, right? If you have too much sugar stored, right, diabetes. That's your sugar level is a little too high, right? Now, I'm gonna get back to it, but we're gonna stick on it, right? Because my opinion of what diabetes is totally different than probably every other doctor. But I think diabetes is parasites. I think you have too much parasites in your body that's basically craving the sugar. And that's what a lot of people don't want to tell you. How do I look in this dress? Oh, you look fine, honey. You look beautiful. How do you look in this dress? You're starting to get fat. I think we should go for a walk sometime. Maybe just lay off the sugar. The truth hurts, but it should be told. We gotta stop. We gotta stop easing people, making them feel good for stuff that they need to deal with. You have too much parasites in your body that's controlling your mind, controlling your lungs, controlling your intestines. Now your immune system is fucked up. Your your breathing is screwed up now, and your brain is screwed up. Look at all the people in politics. Most of them don't get too much exercise, or calisthenics. They don't do calisthenics. That exercise, to me, is just another like word that means like, oh, you're casting out spirits, right? And why you're casting out spirits. Now spirit in etymology means breath, so basically you're casting out your breath. And if you haven't noticed, majority of people with short breath, right, stress a lot. Why? Because the brain only works on oxygen. That's it. Really tiny holes, really tiny holes, really tiny holes, and a hole. And that's what happens. This here is an electromagnetic engine. Okay, it's sparks. There's so much spark. It needs a sheath on the myelin sheath. It needs something that basically absorbs all that electromagnetic spark that's basically from one synapses to the other, so that it can go down the electrical cord, the cerebellum. The cerebellum's like an operator that basically sends it down to the electrical system throughout your arms and your legs, allowing you to do this, to punch, to kick, to knee, to walk, to talk. Oxygen. So if you're called an airhead, somebody calls you, hey, you're an airhead. Remember back in the day? Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you for that compliment. Right? It only works on oxygen. That's it. You ever notice that when you start breathing shallow, you start stressing out? That's your brain going, I need more oxygen. I need more oxygen. Like, what the hell's going on? You freak out, right? Then you freak out to the point where the brain says, you know what? I'm in flight or fight mode. I need to release adrenaline. Adrenaline is kind of like a shot of pure steroids that allows you to testosterone, like hardcore testosterone that's stored all. You now can. It's kind of like putting nitrous into your car now. So the cell is burning the energy, which is the creatine that's stored in the cell in the anaerobic stage, and then it starts burning. After it starts up from burning that creatine, if you take too much creatine, if you're actually working out and you take creatine to work out, you're going to be relying on that creatine. The reason being is that the creatine is already stored naturally in the cell, and your cell says, oh, there's creatine right there. Shit, I don't need to burn this creatine. It's just right there. And then after a while you stop, and then you realize, man, why am I so tired? Like, how comes I'm so drained? Like, because you don't have that white powder, that cocaine, creatine, to actually start the energy burning process. Anything, it's, this is all white powder. You can mix it, you can drink it, any which way you can get it in, it'll start it up. Miss Seeker, wagwan, respect. Oh, thank you for watching that video last night. Very informative, King. Yes, respect. I only like to share stuff that's like interesting to me, so it's kind of hard, like I didn't really I didn't really get on here and like, start the whole YouTuber kind of thing. I was always working with, those who had channels who basically like to share information. I'm a team player. They say there's no I in team, but yeah, there actually is an I in team, because I is one team full of billions and trillions of cells that basically held together an electromagnetic force that makes up me, right? And makes up you. So you are a team unto yourself, right? And then we all, get together to share and become a team. Yeah, fuse. Yeah, respect, respect, respect. Let's see. Nicholas, respect, respect. So the cell is burning the creatine that's already stored in it, right? And for those who don't know, we are one cell organisms. The sperm and the egg got together to fuse together to create one cell, and the other cells are duplicate of that one cell. Every other cell is just a duplicate of the one cell inside the containment unit known as the body, right? This here, the outside part, the largest organ in my whole entire body, is the egg that I basically got from my mama, right? Now, once the cell starts releasing the creatine, it's in the anaerobic stage. We're trying to understand the cell and how it works, right? Now, the cell, it has creatine within it, and it starts burning. It starts burning and starts in the anaerobic stage. You don't need that much oxygen, because guess what? The creatine is like nitrous. It's kind of like what do you call it? Jet fuel. You ever put jet fuel in a car? You now have super burning energy, right? Now that starts burning in the anaerobic stage. Once it starts up the engine, we start, moving. We don't need that much oxygen. We can move and go, and we could keep going, right? Now we start realizing, okay, I need some fuel. I'm running out of fuel here. Like I can, this the muscles are starting to burn, right? It starts looking for sugar. We crave sugar. Sugar is in a fruit, good sugars. Sugar is in all foods. If you ever look at the back of any bottle or anything like that, you can see that there's sugar in everything. Okay. Now, once you start processing that sugar, you basically turn it into an alcohol. Okay, and that alcohol, it now dehydrates you. You ever put alcohol on your skin and then look at your hand after? It evaporates so fast, dehydrates anything. So imagine when you drink so much. You ever notice that if, as a woman, right, as a woman, and you drink too much, you ever notice your pum pum is dry, your mouth dry, everything is dry, every orifice is dry. As a man, you basically dry out your intestines, you dry out your mouth, you dry out everything. Everything starts drying out because it's an alcohol, it's processed sugar, right? Sugar in its natural stage, right, is more of a like it hydrates you because it's like natural. It's to be stored there, but it's not going to dehydrate you. Now, in the anaerobic stage, and you burnt the creatine. Remember, yeah, from north to south, east and west, according to the Treaty of Tortoise Islands. On this stage, if you're here and the cell is burning the creatine, and now it burns the creatine and it goes to burn the sugar, The sugar is the next stage on the anaerobic stage. You don't need that much oxygen. You don't need that much oxygen. The sugars now, or the sugars being burnt up, and the sugar stored all over the body. The cell now crosses that stage where it needs oxygen to burn that sugar. That's when you start breathing heavy. That's when you start breathing heavy. And most people quit at this stage because to absorb that much oxygen, right? If you're filled with shit, if you're filled with parasites who basically now invaded your lungs, left your intestines, that's what they call leaky gut. It actually bored out and left holes in your intestines, and now it's inside your lungs. Now you can't breathe that heavy. You can't absorb that much oxygen. What do? We wear clothes, not realizing that the clothes that we wear are made out of plastic, right? Majority of the clothes that we wear are made out of plastic. Not realizing that our skin breathes, has pores, or has pores all over, all over. You're all over your skin. You have pores. Majority of people should do calisthenics or do exercise, right? With really minimal amount of clothes, and try to find the clothes that aren't plastic. Look at majority of the clothes actually are made from recycled plastic. What is plastic? Plastic comes from crude oil, right? Crude oil, and crude oil like this is what your clothes is made out of, right? Now, when you have a plastic bag on you and you are heating up that plastic and your cells are actually looking for oxygen, but there's no oxygen, it's now breathing in the plastic that's being, or it's kind of like it's poison. It's basically poison. You're in plastic clothes absorbing like the heated plastic. The plastic is releasing these fumes constantly. Doesn't matter what it is. But we adapt, right? Now the cell is in the aerobic stage, right? It's a little chilly. I live in a tundra of a country. Okay, I live where there's still snow outside. It gets to minus 40, right? This year it got actually to minus 55 with the wind chill. Anytime they tell you, oh, it's minus 19, it's such a beautiful day, it actually got hotter. It's minus 18. It got hotter. Minus 18. No, it's freaking freezing. If you go outside, this year I actually like got frostbite. Like we have these masks that we have to walk around in, but my masks are totally different, right? Mine, I snowboard, so I basically have neck warmers, right? And the neck warmer, I bring it up and it covers your face, and basically mine, that's my mask, right? And it covers your face. But while I was walking outside, this was burning. They sprayed the sky with ice minus and actually a lot, and it burnt my skin, right? But let's go back to the cell. The cell is now in the anaerobic stage after burning sugar, and it's still burning sugar. It's still going around, looking for sugar to burn, right? So that it can bring nourishment to the the muscles, because that's what the muscles now are basically using for burning energy. And that sugar is kind of like fuel. It's kind of like dynamite, because each strand of muscle is like this, X strands, right? And in the space between those strands, it's kind of like you put sugar in there, and then it opens up. Now it allows allows water to flow in there. It's kind of like a lubricant, right? Each cell opens up, right? It's tearing, we're ripping and tearing our muscles to repair for size and gain strength, right? That's the alarm saying that it's 7. Not going to be too long. So it's now burning sugar in the anaerobic stage. Once it burns up all that sugar in the anaerobic stage, in the anaerobic stage, you're breathing heavy. Most people quit. And then that's where you get lactic acid buildup. You know, when you work out and or next day you're just like, oh geez, can't move your legs, can't move your arms, your back is sore, like everything's just sore, like man, you gotta stretch it out. You know what I mean? You gotta stretch it out. You just have to stretch it out. Reason being is you quit in a stage where the cell was burning sugar. This is a good experiment. Take some sugar, put it in a pot, right? And start cooking it. And you'll cook it to a point where it will go black, right? It will go black. And then after, it will start crusting, and it'll start burning and bubbling, and it will get hard. And it will start to burn. And then it'll start on fire, right? It will actually start on fire. Okay? So it burnt up all the sugar that is stored in the body. Larger people who've stored more calories, actually have more energy than skinnier people. But they are starving, looking for more nourishment because there's so much shit in their body that they can't find the nourishment that they need or that the cell needs to actually keep burning that energy. Because anything is energy consumption, okay? Once it burns up all the sugar in the anaerobic stage, it now goes to another stage, and it's the calorie burning stage or the fat burning stage. Now, reason why the cell stores the fat, right? The fat is a derogatory term for calories. Once the cell the cell stores fat closest to the muscle. Why? Because the thing is that that's where the calories are needed, right? All over the body, it stores calories from head to toe. When it gets into a calorie burning stage or a fat burning stage, right? It doesn't have to go far to look for sugar that was stored all over the body. Sugar is just needed as a stage to burn energy. What do? We're always just burning energy. We're nuclear beings that creates energy. we can get together and a man and a woman can come together through whatever means, love, passion, lust, whatever, and create another human being, another individual, right? Another man or woman, another boy or girl. And then the process happens all over again. When adults, like little children, that's just sick. That's sickness. That is a demon or some kind of demonic or devalued energy that's within them, preying upon their sick, twisted way of life. And that's okay to most alphabet people because they don't care. Men hate women, women hate men, and they want to be together so that that system doesn't continue, right? Only group of animals, and yes, we're animals, only group of animals in the whole entire world that basically like make rules to and laws and stuff like that to come together to destroy the sanctity of procreation. I don't see monkeys. I don't see lions. I don't see two lions jumping on each other and just doing it. I don't see birds doing it. I don't you don't see any animals doing it. Gorillas, you don't see gorillas like jumping on each other. Maybe certain group of monkeys, I don't know, but still they know for a fact that they need the opposite sex to continue on themselves. And I'm sorry, but I'm in me, each cell that has the genetic makeup of me holds all my ancestors. Whether I like it or not, it's they could be good or bad, it doesn't matter. But it holds all the information of who I am before. And that's how certain people can be such like geniuses, or certain people can be like, like very powerful people, because in them their ancestors probably were great leaders, or in them their ancestors were were you know special people, right? They did things that they other people were too freaking lazy to do. And that's what we are. We're very lazy. Like the body is sedentary. So we can actually sit around and do nothing and enjoy it, right? That's right, Miss Seeker. We are our ancestors, whether anybody likes it or not. And these people want to destroy our ancestors. Why? Because we are the most advanced people that has ever been on the face of this planet. Go look at all the inventions in the world, everything in the world. Okay, here's this. Okay, we found out yesterday through Holy Week, right? Is the Spanish KKK getting together, but it's not the Spanish KKK, it's the priests, the military priests getting together to basically for a week show off the way they, got together and massacred and killed Christ. Oh, no, you got it wrong. Christ died for our sins. No, he was murdered And I think people should start not living in a false reality, because if I was to basically take somebody and nail him on the cross and say, listen, bitch, this ain't no murder, he actually walked up there. So could it have been that that group, that huge following that was listening to an individual, right? Then he was a leader of that large following, and maybe a military was coming in to massacre all the people, right? And he decided, you know what? I'm going to basically like go and deal with this myself, and what do you call it? See what's going on. And then, nap, got you. Because the story doesn't make sense to me. The story doesn't make sense to me. You can't tell me that some man was healing and doing this and doing all sorts of magic and miracles and stuff like that, and he crawled up there like, oh, he volunteered, you know. God gave his only begotten son to die for our sins. What? That looks like murder to me. That looks like murder by a bunch of jealous pussy holes in big ass hats. Oh, small ass hats. Whatever. But that's just me. Now, the cell has started with creatine in the anaerobic stage. It burnt all the creatine and it went looking for sugar. Sugar is the next burning. The sugar, right? If you haven't noticed, majority of our people has been poisoned by sugars. They're addicted to sugar, right? In the anaerobic stage, it crosses to the aerobic stage and it starts burning sugar in the aerobic stage, meaning that it needs more oxygen to burn that sugar. Your breath starts increasing in the aerobic stage. You start burning the sugar. Once you burn up all the sugar that's in there, it starts looking for calories in the aerobic stage. The calories is fat that's stored all over the body. Once you get into this stage, if you stop at this stage, in the sugar burning stage, there's lactic acid buildup. Once you get into the aerobic stage, in the calorie burning stage, you now can actually go on and on and on. Why? Because the cell loves this stage. But in order to get to this stage, you have to burn all of these. You have to burn all the sugar. You have to pass that stage. There's certain times where you're breathing, you're getting enough oxygen, right? You're getting enough oxygen because that's what the body is actually seeking, is oxygen. They came here to chop down the trees because they couldn't deal with us. Because there's so much oxygen around. They say that there was so much oxygen, the animals were bigger, the people were bigger, they were smarter. Why? Because that's what it needs. You need oxygen. Majority of these corporations that are around here, called governments, they hire multinational corporations, people who aren't from here, to basically operate business here. You can go and check it out because they all incorporate in Delaware. All of these multinational corporations, all of these countries, basically open up business here. I could be anywhere in the world. This is one place that you can be anywhere in the world. You could be in China, you could be in Japan, you could be in Malaysia, you can be in Africa, you can be in Europe, you can be anywhere in the whole entire world and incorporate here in America, the land of the free and home of the brave. The brave. And in order to be brave, you must have a little bit of black blood running through your veins. Japanese proverb. home of the brave. So who were the samurais and the ninjas? And in Berlin Conference 1945, it was the systematic destruction and destroying of the Japanese people, their culture and livelihood. And you wonder why I have such a affinitive disdain for people who are German and from the Netherlands and from the Dutch and who are Spaniards. Yeah. Sorry, I love your culture. I love your food. I love your women. I love your, what do you call it? Your whole persona. But when you a bunch of fake ass backstabbing motherfuckers, and you've been backstabbing motherfuckers for 500 years. Enough respect though, because you sure know how to mind fuck people. And I've always wondered when groups of people are getting together, and saying, the whole illusion of Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. Where the fuck is Black land? Where the fuck is Black land? Because if there's a Black land, I'd like to fucking go there. I really would. Where the fuck is Black land? Since we're black people, okay, Black power, okay, where the fuck is Black land? I want to go there because I don't want to be here in white land anymore, because it seems like, oh, there's a white land too. Oh, we're white people. We're white people. Well, fuck you. This is the fucking color white. If I see anybody that looks like that, I'm either running or fucking beating the fuck out of them. And there's a lot of people starting to want to be this color. They'll bleach their fucking skin. Our people. You know what? That one lady who injected herself and changed her whole hair, skin, everything to a sister. And I love the crispy black. It's so much better. I feel better in the sun. I do not burn. I sleep good. I have great sex. I feel amazing. And I love that lady. I'm very impressed with somebody who actually is going the other way. Come to the dark side of the force. Everything good is bad, and everything bad is good. I noticed I was kind of looking super, you know what I mean? But I want to find out where she gets that liquid. I want to find out where she gets that liquid, and I want to be injected with melanin. I want to have more melanin in me, because you know what? I've been in this rasclad country for a long time, and you know what? It actually drains your energy. They spray the sky to block out the sun. There's not enough sun to be here, and now, oh, you have to have a passport. Oh, I need a passport to go to my fucking bathroom? This is my fucking house. This is my rasclad house. I am in the north of my house, and I want to go to the south of my house, but the Dutch has created, what do you call it? Treaties, or no, charters, rentals, okay, to basically stop me from going and saying that, oh, there's an imaginary border. There's an imaginary border. You can't come down here. You're not American. No, no, I'm not. I'm Tortoisillian. I'm freaking Tortoisillian. I'm a tortoise islander. I'm a ninja motherfucking turtle. I'm a ninja turtle. That's what I am. I'm not black. Don't call me black. Don't call me a Negro. I'm not an American, because an American is a corporation that was incorporated in France. I'm a motherfucking Ninja Turtle. If you don't like it, fuck you. If you want to fucking scrap, let's go. But I'm a motherfucking Ninja Turtle. That's what I am. And you ever wondered why they were in the sewer? They weren't flushed down the fucking sewer. Guess what? They were integrated. They came through the grate. Motherfucking Ninja Turtles were integrated, came through the sewer grate. Because that's where we've been for the longest time, in the fucking sewer. Whether anybody likes it or not, let's just call it like what it is, right? But now we understand how the cell works, and we understand that we're one cell organisms, okay? And I got a nice video for you so that you can understand. Though they say that the workings of a cell, okay, this is the inner life of a cell, okay? I think the music sucks. I wanted to, like, you know, do it my ghetto way and put music to it, right? So it could be, so it's look a little bit cooler. Like, you know, you can't really do too much nowadays with the restrictions. If you haven't noticed, restrictions after restrictions after restrictions after restrictions after restrictions. Now we're being put in a box, okay? Now now they're telling you, oh, you have, there's certain guidelines that you need. Man, these fucking these Dutch motherfuckers. Like, honestly, King of the Netherlands, William Alexander. You grew up in Argentina. I don't know how you grew up, but you should have grown up around some niggas for real, because then you would be a little cooler instead of such a tight ass motherfucker trying to bust all these rules and regulations. Right? Stuff. Don't you guys have anything other than being Nazis? Like, really? Is it that much? Like, just go over there. Why don't you get a little place that you say, okay, we are here, we're going to be here, and just do what we do best, right? Keep that's my timer letting me know how much time I actually have, right? But the next one I'm gonna do is the charter of the Dutch West Indian Company in 1621. Yes, 1621. And that's what sparked the Pequot War. That's what sparked the war that of the people. They call them the destroyers. It sparked the war of the people that had all the pyramids all along the rivers. And I'm talking all the way to Alaska. And now they're called mounds. Yes, those people just vanished and disappeared. Yeah, no, they were murdered by your muskets, whole groups of you, Masons. Yeah, I'm going to say it. It's the Masons. Because it was John Mason, the first one that basically gathered Indian groups, okay, who allied with the Dutch against and gathered their European groups to go around systematically raping, killing, murdering, and pillaging every single city that was along the riverside that were pyramids and towns and cities and all that kind of stuff. When they came up with the Gatling gun, they practiced on the Lakota people. Nobody said nothing because those are just Indians. They're oh really? Those are just Indians? No, those are niggas, Negroes. Those were Negroes that did not want to assimilate with the Borg. Anybody ever watched Star Trek? Asked why they were called the Borg. The Dutch. To be controlled, to be good slaves, to basically keep working and working and have no point to life. They're the landlords. We're the landlords. You better start realizing it. You're a fucking landlord. And the Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh away. And they worship demons. The lesser keys of Solomon. We're going to go through that one too. Because it seems like, oh, those are like secret papers and secret this and secret that. You know what? We need to get together and wear red hats, put jewels on them, grand poobahs. Does anybody remember Flintstones? The grand poobahs. They get together and then they basically, in their little secret cults, fuck goats, jack off in coffins. How do I know this? Because one of your own decided, you know what, fuck you, you're a bunch of fucking weirdos, and I'm gonna tell. I'm telling. That's what majority of like Europeans do. I'm telling. What do we do? Fuck that, use a knock, motherfucker. Yo, don't say shit. Don't speak up. Shh. You're very good at being silent. Except when you get into a federal court, then you start chirping like canaries. But I digress. Now, let's watch this ghetto. This is what they say. This is what they say, that this is happening inside of a cell. I don't know when they actually got a camera to go inside of a cell that small and record all the movements and the functionality of what a cell does, but this is their hypothesis or their imagination of what's going on. It says the internal. So when we know that a vowel is before a consonant, that means that I don't know. It says the internal life of a cell. You can go and check it out. It's very cool. Now, I just told you the simple version of how a cell works because we are one cell organisms, 0, 1. Okay. And when you see an I before an N, that means no noir. So I don't know what the fuck is going on, but this is what we think a life of a cell is. So check it out. This is kind of cool because, but I think the music sucks. There's no beat. every single inch of my body. We think we look all pretty and, good looking and all that kind of stuff, but guess what? You're a blob. You're a cell, a whole bunch of cells. Every single cell looks like that, according to science. I think majority of the shit is made up, but yeah, they've studied us for so long, they needed a whole shit. We saved their ass. We've been saving their ass for 500 years now. Because before, you have to think, they say, oh, the Moors brought like technology and science and all that kind of stuff to Europe. But even in the 1900s, the people didn't know how to read. People didn't know how to do shit. So what did the Moors really bring to Europe? What were they, who were they teaching? They didn't even bathe. According to certain documents, they stunk so bad that you could smell them a mile away. And there was an order of the bath. An order of the bath. You weren't allowed to bathe. There were certain popes that basically put certain things out there that you can't bathe. And when this individual died and they cut him open, there was maggots and rats and worms and centipedes crawling like all throughout. So yeah, that's how a cell works. That's how the energy of the cell works. I want to thank you all for coming and checking out what I had to say today. Seeker, respect. Let's see. Charles, Indigenous 56 acres. No shit. Where me acres and my mule there? Dirty motherfuckers. Seeker. Charles Johnson. Respect. I want to thank everybody for coming out. Nicholas, respect. Lacono, Emperor, respect. Everybody, if I didn't say your name, respect. Thank you for coming and checking out the show. I want you to, what they say? Like, subscribe, and share with as much freaking people as possible. This is not meant for kids. Kids are sacrificial goats. You can go check out the other videos. But you can teach it to the youths them, because you know what? It's about time we start getting the youths them interested in nanotechnology, in coding. There's a brother I'm going to show next time that does free coding. He's teaching our people free coding, right? Because the thing about it is, all this stuff is moving forward to a technological age, and those who are strong will survive. Bill Gates, patent number 060606. They want to force it down our throats. And those people who do not want to take the jab will be brought to internment camps like the Nazis did with the freaking Jews. But they don't want to tell you that there was black Jews they were fucking over, and the white Jews were those sympathizers or the allies that now is fucking this place. But it's the same group of people that came over with Christopher Columbus, their heirs and their successors. Forever, ever, motherfucking ever. From north to south, east to west. Thank you very much, and I bid you adieu.